Hello, my name is Sam Stacey. This is a screencast to explain my instructional methods of a cross-curricular lesson I have taught recently and one I will bring to your school should you wish to hire me. The following presentation will demonstrate what I'll bring to your school that is really different. This is because I work creatively and innovatively. Please feel free at any stage to pause the screencast to explore the many links that accompany this presentation. I have added a link that will take you to my website where you will find the learning plan as well as the resources for my lesson. In this session, I wish to use the following teaching methods. I will use multimedia on 3 separate occasions. The first instance will be when students will watch 3 short YouTube clips at the beginning of the lesson, when explaining names and functions of each system. The second occasion will be when students are taking part in the physical part of the lesson. And I also use the CD to enhance involvement. The third instance will be when students use the internet for the use of research in their respected system presentations. A small amount of direct teaching will be used. This will be used when the history and geography questions will be asked. This method will also be used to make sure that physical circuits can be carried out properly. The use of brainstorming will also be used in this session. Pupils are to discuss and brainstorm ideas to form a poster and/or PowerPoint presentations. Pupils will have a chance to cooperate with each other when they learn. Students are to join each other to form a group of 4. Small group discussions will be used when students are deciding on which system to research. Whole group discussions will be used near the end of the session when pupils are to present to each other. I will allow pupils to talk to their partners and to share with the rest of the group. Students will use their handouts to help them understand the intended learning outcome. They can also use the exercise record worksheets to work out their individual heart rate. Students to transfer data from the table and draw a line graph, which they can explain during their presentations at the end of the lesson. The underpinning academic subject will be physical education. However, there are 7 more academic subjects that are interlinked within this lesson. The first one is literacy. The second one is PSHE, through the use of sportsmanship and cooperation, as well as teamwork. The third, science, through the use of muscle names, bodily functions, and using heart rate monitors, as well as the exploration of gas exchange. The fourth subject, mathematics. The students will have to measure, record, and collate data. The fifth and sixth subject is history and geography. 8 questions will be asked to all students before the physical circuit. The seventh subject included is ICT, as students will have to use the internet to research their projects. This lesson will be aimed at pupils in a high achieving class in Year 9. Students will have the opportunity in this lesson to practice for their assignments on the Pearson Next Generation BTEC First Sports Programme. The AQA syllabus in all other subjects will also be used. The importance of allowing students to experience a cross-curricular lesson will aid students' ability to link different subject areas and hopefully help them in their exams. This lesson will run for 100 minutes to fit in with your school's lessons timing policy. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to participate in a simple interval circuit, be able to demonstrate an understanding of how the exercises have an effect on the muscle, skeletal, and respiratory systems. Pupils will also present the findings at the end of their lesson in presentations to each other. Students should have a good knowledge of the benefits and effects it has on the body. There are 6 main parts to this session. Firstly, I will give out the 3 system name diagrams and the exercise record worksheets. The class are then to watch the 3 YouTube videos. I will ask the students to answer 4 geography and 4 history questions to determine where to start on the physical circuit. The students will then start at one of 12 stations that are to complete this twice. So students will then split into groups of 4 to make a poster and/or PowerPoint presentation, and then the lesson will conclude with pupils presenting the poster or PowerPoint to each other. This lesson can be differentiated either by splitting into 2-hour-long sessions or changing the focus to digestive or cardiovascular systems, or even linking it to the BTEC First qualification. The main aims of the National Curriculum for Physical Education suggest that all pupils must engage in competitive sports and activities. Students will complete compete against themselves in this lesson, as well as being physically active for sustained periods of time. This lesson works alongside the BTEC Level 1 in Sport qualification. This lesson links with the qualification in Unit 1, Fitness for Sport and Exercise, as well as Unit 7, the Anatomy and Physiology for Sports Performance. During this lesson, a clear cross-curricular approach is adopted. Recently, a study by Ofsted suggested that inspectors will look for a more holistic view on curriculum output rather than just teaching to the test. So science is a feature in this lesson and links in well to the biology section and the structure and function of living organisms. It states that students should know the structure and function and interaction between bones, muscles, and gas exchange systems. Higher ability students can also explore the impact of exercise, asthma, and smoking on human gas exchange systems. In this lesson, English will be used to promote high standards of language and literacy. Students will have to speak during their presentations. The use of correct vocabulary and grammar will also be emphasized and will be marked accordingly. Literacy will also be used during classroom discussions when students will give short speeches and presentations expressing their own ideas and keeping to the point. It is also in the curriculum. Pupils will have to plan, draft, edit, and proofread their scripts before presenting. The 2014 National Curriculum for England states that all schools should make provision for personal, social, health, and economic education. An underpinning of sportsmanship, cooperation, and teamwork runs throughout my lesson. The representation of mathematics in this lesson is clear during the physical circuits of activities, where students will have to count their repetitions and also work out their individual heart rates. Mathematical language will also be important in making sure that misconceptions in scoring is kept to a minimum. The math curriculum also states that students should construct vertical line charts, which is used in this lesson. Math is linked to spoken language. Discussions to probe misunderstandings and findings will also be apparent in this lesson. Geography and history questions are asked. These are relevant to the AQA exam board and appear on their syllabus, therefore relevant to the knowledge needed for future exams. Here are the references that I have used to construct this section. There are many connections of pedagogy in this lesson. Piaget and Montessori share the idea of providing real-life world experiences as important in schools. During this lesson, students will experience real-life activities, taking part in recording their own physical activity scores, and link them to researchable outcomes through researching human body effects. They also suggest that teachers should plan open-ended activities, as well as ask open-ended questions. In my lesson, I will encourage students to ask open-ended questions during discussions at the end of the lesson. Piaget, Dewey, Montessori, and Vygotsky all share one common idea. Education should be child-centered and must be both active and interactive. In this lesson, the child is given the opportunity to compete against themselves and sets his or her own targets. Interaction is used heavily during this lesson, especially when students have to research their presentations. Each student will have to take responsibility to research different aspects of their chosen topic. There are some mixed reviews on student-centered instruction, however. The teacher doesn't always deliver instruction to all students at once. Some students may miss important facts. This is why there is some direct teaching in my lesson. The modeling or demonstrating by myself or peers is important and ensures learning occurs. Reinforcement needs to be included. Students like to have choices, and I allow the students to choose which system to look at. Mostyn and Ashworth suggest that teaching and learning is essentially about decision making. Practice style is used in this lesson. I make most of the decisions about what is to be practiced, however the pupils are allowed to choose the level of effort they wish to work at. Reciprocal style is also used in this lesson, where I hand out worksheets and guide the pupils with suggestions, as well as aid in direction of discussion. During this lesson, I provide pupils with opportunities to become self-managers, creative thinkers, reflective learners, team workers, independent inquirers, and also effective participators. I believe a combination of command style and student-centered teaching methods must be used to allow a well-balanced and progressive lesson. Cross-curricular teaching within this physical education lesson helps students to develop deep learning and a more all-rounded view on the skills needed to become successful, not only in academic studies, but in their futures outside of school. I believe that I can bring creativity and innovation to lessons within your school to be able to provide a healthy platform for all students to excel in their studies. Thank you for listening.